migrations and a lot of staging. So I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of staging and what you need to be, what you need to watch out for, right? Like setting your website to do not index so that Google doesn't pick up your staging
Oh,
site.
how many times has your
How
team
many
forgotten?
times or how many times have you published with that setting turned on and
Yeah,
you're
that's
like,
what I
oh
mean.
my,
Like when you launch it and your team's like, all of a sudden your client's like, hey, my SEO got totally killed.
right,
And you're
right,
like,
because some
first thing that
asshole,
comes to my head is like, they didn't uncheck the
right,
box.
right, which is
First, sorry, first tell us why you need it checked and why you don't need it checked.
Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna get into, Judd. I'm gonna get into why you should stage a website, especially one that is heavy traffic, generates a lot of leads, gets a lot of traffic, generates a lot of e-com sales. If you're gonna do anything to the website, if you're gonna modify any main layouts to any existing pages, if you're gonna do some updates, if you're running WordPress and you want to update those plugins, you don't know what's going to happen. You're hoping everything's going to go great, but that's not always the case, right? So what you should do is you should always stage your website. So here are some pros and cons to staging your website. It's going to allow you as a pro, it's going to allow you to screw up the environment and not impact the production site, right? That's
Yeah.
that's the key part right there, right? I'll give you a good example. We had a customer whose view cart page was really, really slow, and it just became a matter of staging the website and disabling plugins one by one to identify which one was the culprit. And
Yeah, isn't that a thing too?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
because so like what I hate when you have like a plugin issue is that a client like you automatically assume that responsibility. So that's the plugin's fault. There's a bug and the plugin is supported by a developer, but of course it's always your fault, right?
Without a doubt, but that's why they hire us.
Because you recommended that plugin. So, but yeah, tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, so that obviously that's one of it, right? When you start disabling plugins on a production site, you're essentially taking away functionality. So that's a no-no. So that's why staging your website is really, really, really useful. Um, there are a couple downfalls to staging a website, and I'll get into that. Number one is your paths. On your website, your paths should always be relative, not absolute, because once you start clicking on the website to test functionality, in some cases, you end up on your production site again, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've been looking at the production website the whole entire time. So it's a good
Oh
idea
yeah.
to use relative paths. And it
You're,
doesn't
you're
it doesn't mean
telling
you
me
have
all horror stories that are coming back to me now, like that have happened to me,
sure.
like with the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
shit.
yeah. This is hey, this